All right, so Darius Rucker is here, and before we even started this, Darius yells at Eddie, "The Cowboys suck!" Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, you got your Cowboys hat and your little sweatshirt on. And it's like, man, they suck.
Wait, Darius, what are you talking about?
They're doing right now what they always do. They're beating bad teams, and then they're going to get in the playoffs, and they're going to get blown out in the first round, and you're going to be crying, next year.
They do that a lot, though.
They do that a lot.
That is
That's their
consistent.
I mean, I see the Cowboys doing it, but I also see the 49ers doing well. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go again.
But don't you think, though, because I'm not a Cowboys fan,
Yep.
don't you think that, one, Dak looked good against a really good defense with the Jets?
Yes.
Like, super consistent. I
Yeah.
think it was like 30 for 36. I don't remember the exact numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly,
31 for 38, but no one's.
is that okay?
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Secondly, Micah Parsons is the
Best player in the country.
best
In the world.
best football
defensive
player
in the world. Yes,
Yes.
best football player in the world.
I would say he's number one, and you go to Mahomes for number two
Yep.
if we're doing best football player.
Yes.
So with that defense, and with Dak just being slightly better than a game manager, I think they could do it this year.
At some point, when it's really, really important, Dak's going to be Dak.
Yeah.
At some point.
Okay.
I would love for the Cowboys to play the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. That would be the easiest win the Dolphins ever had.
When I watch the Dolphins play, which by the way, they're offensive.
Best team in football.
They are dynamic. Between the speed of Waddle and Tyreek, it's crazy how fast they are.
Yes.
I would watch Tua even this week. Just Chunk and Waddle would still outrun it
Yeah.
and jump up and make a great play.
Yeah.
Like Waddle's that dude. Even if Tyreek wasn't on the team, Waddle is that
Would
dude.
be that dude. I agree with you 100%.
So, but that being said, I just am so concerned about Tua, who I love, that every time he gets sacked or hit, I'm just like, God, please get up.
Dude, I'm a Dolphin fan. I love the Miami Dolphins, and every time he goes down, I'm fingers crossed, staring at the TV, hoping he gets up.
I'm a big Tua guy, right?
I love him. If he stays healthy, we really have a shot at the Super Bowl, but that's a big, big if.
I love McDaniel. I love the coach.
Yeah, I do too.
That-
McDaniel's a great dude.
Do you know him?
I'd met him once.
Is
twice.
he? I hope he's weird.
He is.
He's got
Okay,
to be
good. He
weird.
has to be
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
because that's what I expect of him.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend once that met Eminem, and I was like, I hope he was a dick. And they were like, he was. I was like, that's awesome. He needs to be that because I don't want him to not be what I need him to be.
Yeah.
So with that division, with the Dolphins, what do you think the Jets? What do you think they would have done if Rodgers stays in?
Oh, they would probably go to the Super Bowl because their defense is so good. I was playing Pebble. I'm pretty good friends with Aaron. I'm playing Pebble with Aaron, and this is before he signed with the Jets. And I'm saying to him, we played 3 days in a row, and I say 8 million times, you cannot go to the Jets. You cannot go to the Jets. And then I get a text. I'm going to the Jets.
Oh, no.
You didn't listen.
I did see yesterday where they said that because the guy I think that was doing his surgery like worked for Dr. James Andrews, but there's this new that they said he could actually be back by
heard that.
January.
December. If I were the Jets, first of all, I would say no way. Even if we're playing, no way. If you're going to come back and you can be good by January, that means you'll be real good by next
Yes.
September.
Yes.
Do you think he comes back? You know him.
I don't think he comes back because I don't think they'll be in contention.
No. Do you think he comes back next year?
Oh, he plays.
So
100.
you don't think
Not retired?
100%.
if I had $100 million and had to go through a grueling rehab, I don't know that I would go through a grueling rehab.
But none of us played football. Like, nobody wants to go out like that, especially when you're one of the greatest of all time and you go to this team to win the Super Bowl. Nobody wants to go out being carted off the field. Everybody wants to walk off the field. So I guarantee you he will be back.
Do you think the Jets just stick with Zach Wilson the whole time?
Right now. When you look around in the landscape, there's really nobody so much better that you're going to go out and pick up that unless you can talk Brady into it, and you can't.
Oh, can
No,
you imagine?
That's not happening.
Because he's a big
That's not
Patriots
happening.
fan.
That's not happening.
I mean, Brady goes out, rings the bell,
Not
and goes
happening. No,
Can
no,
you
no, no, no.
imagine if he went to the Jets and won a Super Bowl with another team?
Oh, God.
hilarious.
I would throw all my Brady stuff away.
No, you
yeah.
I
wouldn't.
can't- yes,
He's always
absolutely.
a Patriot.
No, if he goes to the Jets, I'm cutting his Achilles. So,
You feel like the Dolphins can do it?
yes, I really feel like with Fangio running the defense now, and
What about Jalen
if
Ramsey?
If Tua stays healthy,
I mean, he's not even. I mean, is he getting back? Is he gonna be full Jalen Ramsey?
I think so.
Week 6?
I hope so. Yeah. If not week 6, week 8, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Would you rather him wait and come back?
Yeah. Later.
Because I guess you don't need him right now.
No, we're in a good spot right now. We're going to need Jalen in the playoffs. And right now we're rolling right along. Tua stays healthy, we'll be good. But I would rather him stay out to like week 8 or 10 and then rush back.
Buffalo?
Their window's closing. Window's closing. I mean, their window was huge for the last few years. They looked good yesterday, but I'm not scared of Buffalo.
Do you think, though, with Dable leaving, that Josh Allen, he's thrown a lot of picks. He's fumbled a bunch, even the second half of last year. Do you think that's hurt him for, like, perpetuity?
Yeah. But, he could get it all. It could all transcend if he just plays well. If he wins a Super Bowl in Buffalo.
For sure.
Everything.
He's set forever, too. Set forever. It's crazy to think about those Buffalo years where they lost 4 in a row.
Dude, you got to realize this.
It's crazy.
I'm a Dolphin fan, and we got Dan Marino, and the Bills are going to 4 Super Bowls in a row. It was like I wanted to kill all of them. I mean, it was vicious.
I was reading an article about how Dan Marino being so good hurt that team because they felt like they didn't need to invest in anything else, and they put it all on Marino's shoulders.
Yes.
And Dan's like, "Yo, I'm doing everything I possibly can, being one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, but you're giving me no help."
Yeah.
And they felt like they didn't have to spend a whole bunch of money because they had him. You talk about unfair.
And it was tough because it was really before the really big free agent era, and when you built your team through the draft, and the Dolphins were always making the playoffs and losing early in the playoffs, and so don't get any good draft picks, and you go through all that, and you're like, they didn't want a running game because they had Marino. What do we need a running game for? Yeah, you need a running game to win the Super Bowl. But that was tough. I watched a lot of great years go down the tube, like Joe Montana said the other day. If he had won 1 Super Bowl, the greatest quarterback, it wouldn't even be a conversation on who it was if he had just won 1.
And he's Charles Barkley.
Yes.
That Charles Barkley was so good, so dominant. If you didn't, and you see him now, you're like, that guy. Like kids now, Charles Barkley was a man.
Yes.
But the fact that he never won one with the Sixers or the Suns, I think keeps some people from really acknowledging that he was one of the greatest ever to play.
I agree.
That they don't move him up those less higher because he did. Same thing with Marino.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. When you don't win a championship, people don't give you the respect that you deserve for a lot of players. And most players don't win a championship, but people that know sports like us, we know that Marino was great. We know that Barkley was great. They just did that champion thing. I mean, Barkley played in the Jordan era.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Jordan kept the Suns. I mean, Jordan's why Barkley didn't win.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Talk about South Carolina football for a second. I'm a massive Shane. I never wanted to like South. I don't dislike South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's like disliking Arkansas. We don't win enough to make people dislike us.
Exactly.
So nobody hates us. Exactly. But I never had plans to actually really like and root for South Carolina. And we went over and spent the day with Shane and Coach Beamer. I love that dude.
I love him. I
Like,
hope he's there forever.
yeah.
I love him.
Like, I root for South Carolina now. And even when you were just a fan, I was like, screw him. I don't care about Darius that much. But Coach Beamer, I'm in. So what is your relationship with the program now?
Oh, Shane's a real good friend. I think I'm part of the program. I built a studio in the facilities for all the kids, and it's funny because he had to put a curfew on it because they were staying until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Just making music and beats and stuff.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
How many games do you get back to or try to?
I'll go to 6 this year.
You will?
Yeah.
All home, or do you?
I don't go to away games, man. I'm not getting in a fight with nobody.
Smart.
I don't go to away games.
What's a successful season this season?
Any ball game. If we can win 7, 8 games, if we could sneak 9, which doesn't look very good right now, but if we could win 7 or 8 games and make a bowl game, that's a successful season.
You played Georgia tight, and I'm a big DraftKings guy, and so I had South Carolina plus 14 or 15, and they ended up losing by 10, I think is what it was. But it was a really good game.
For the first half, you couldn't tell me. After the first half, I thought we were going to win the game, but then Georgia did exactly what they should have done. They said, we're not going to care about you running the ball at all. We're just going to play the pass.
Right.
And they killed us.
I feel like Rattler's arm is so good, but the big question in South Carolina was their offensive line.
It still is.
And it still is.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you're in the SEC and you don't have interior O&D, that's where you get made and that's where you get lost too.
Watching the Georgia game, you really saw it. And the North Carolina game, you really saw up front, we just can't play. I mean, we can't play with the big guys.
I became pretty good friends with Deion Sanders 5 or 6 years ago. Do you know Deion at all?
I met Deion a couple of times.
So how do you feel about Colorado? You've been watching those games?
Everybody loves Colorado right now. You cannot pull for them. It was they're he's instantly turned that program around. He instantly made that the most watched program in the country, and they're winning, which is even better. And I always say Colorado enjoy it right now because as soon as that Florida State job comes up, he's gone.
And I've told the story before. He called me whenever that Florida State job was open last time, and no one was really giving him a shot at any Power 5 school, which is why he went down and turned Jackson State into the powerhouse that they became. But he called me and he was like, "Hey, will you tweet that you think I'd be a good coach for Florida State?" And so he was already doing the PR thing then.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "I think Deion would be the great coach for Florida State." And they hired Coach Narble, who I like as well, down at Florida State. But yeah, Colorado, they should love it.
Yes, enjoy it. And Deion was so funny. I don't know if you saw the 60-minute interview the other day, but they said, "Who's the best coach in college football?" He said, "Somebody give me a mirror."
Give me a mirror, yeah. That's what he said. Give me a mirror.
That was awesome.
All right, Darius new record's coming out on October the 6th. What's a record to you song-wise now? How many tracks? I'm sure that's changed over the years.
13 for regular, and then you got to put 2 in for Spotify, 2 in for Apple. So
Really?
yeah.
How do you pick which tracks you put in for the Spotify or Apple or Target? Is it like, these are pretty good?
No, I recorded so much for a record, and I usually like all the songs I record, so you just pick the ones that. And then there's always live stuff sitting around that they want to use, so you do that.
Live stuff's always a good, because it's still the hit.
Yeah, you can put Let Her Cry on there, and everybody's happy.
How many versions of Let Her Cry have you recorded over the years?
A lot. A lot.
Darius, we appreciate the time. Good to talk to you, man.
Always good with you, Bobby.
Thanks,
Love you, man.
Darius.